Hey everyone, it is Monday, April 11th. We're already almost midway through April, and the crypto markets are not doing well right now. This was pretty well anticipated to a degree. A lot of people had and again, I always say that I don't care about those charts, but I actually care pretty deeply. They had Bitcoin slipping down below 40 to hit 38, and as I was actually preparing to go live right now, Bitcoin slipped below 40 and now is at 39,881 and 857 and dropping. So it's the beauty of Bitcoin is that it bounces down and up. Now the good news is there's a chart that I'll actually post in on our website happy.com. It shows historical where we are as opposed to different cycles, and it basically correlates to a number of different cycles. What we're going through right now looks almost identical to what we've seen in the past right before a huge bull run took place. So if you look at the historical charts, it's lining up to three additional ones before this that all ended up in massive influxes. We're going to see some interesting market forces that are going to take place soon. You're going to see the Fed that's going to, start raising rates more aggressively. 50 basis points is supposed to be the next raise. That's going to pull a lot of money out of the stock market. I think the stock market's going to crash, and you're going to start to see a decoupling of crypto that's now matching up with the tech stock sector and the stock market. So as that happens, you're going to start to see a lot of people pull money out of the stock market and figure out what the hell am I going to do with my money? And there's not much you can do except for move it into crypto and commodities. Those are your big moves at this point. You also have some defense stocks. If you want to bet on war and say I'm going to pick Lockheed Martin or one of those guys to actually say this war is going to keep escalating, and we need to be able to, they're going to be selling a ton of weapons, planes, and other nonsense. That's something that you can bet on as well. But a lot of people are betting pretty heavily on Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Kevin O'Leary predicts trillions are going to come into the space. I agree with him, especially if an ETF is actually approved, regular one, not the futures. So that's another thing on the table. There's going to be some lawsuits if these ETFs aren't approved because none of it makes sense. You can't say that a ETF is approved for futures and then say, well, the ETF, it can't be approved for the local because it's too volatile. It's the same product. One of them's less certain. It's in the future. You can't say one is volatile and the other isn't. It's the exact same thing, only less volatile because at least you know about it than on the future side. Latest news. So there's a lot of new stuff popping up. I mean, Cash App adding their stuff, BitPay. You've seen all these different places are starting to add uh, layer two Lightning Network payments. We looked at it. I looked at it again all weekend. The only reason we can't add that as our first option is because we're doing so much smart contract and NFT work, and it's just not there with Lightning yet. It's perfect for payments. There's also no stable coin active with it. The Lightning stable coin is coming out soon. I can't wait to see it. We're going to be tying a HapPhi token directly to a stable coin of some sort, either the US dollar, which is not looking so great, or to UST, which is Terra Luna's group, and tying it. They've got a number of different things that they've tied their coin to, including the US dollar and Bitcoin and some other foreign currencies. So there's a few options there, but the reason we're doing that is so that people know the value of the token and can exchange it for money at any different time, which is great because the way we're structuring this, as money comes into the ecosystem, it's going to be auto distributed to people who have helped us grow, people who are in the community in general, to the businesses that have represented HapPhi with billboards or TVs. So as the money actually flows into the system, it'll just be auto distributed to each of those groups through HapPhi tokens, which can be instantly converted into US dollars, or if any other denomination that you want. You could turn it into crypto. I mean, it's the same way with everything. So that's the way we're going to structure it to keep the actual community engaged and so that you know that there's real money behind it. There are going to be some elements to our product that are like Pi. For those of you out there that use Pi, you self-mine and you actually get bonuses for incenting or adding people into your network. We're going to build in some functionality very similar to that, only you're actually going to be able to use the tokens. I've been mining Pi for years, and they don't do a damn thing, and they're not worth anything. I'm not quite sure if they ever will be. To be honest, it's a great idea. They have a ton of people on board. I'm just not sure what those people are actually doing with this project. So far, it's just an app that does nothing, that helps you mine, and I'm still engaged with it every day. So kudos to the Pi team for putting something together that works, gets people engaged. We're going to, really take some of their ideas and make them a lot better. Actually, give you something you can use and make it worthwhile, where you can make money with it. That's kind of a big difference. You're seeing a lot of different other stuff out there that's happening. You're seeing a lot of Luna's buying a bunch of tokens, MicroStrategy's buying a bunch of tokens. It doesn't matter. Once things start going down, we've been through this in the crypto market. Once things go down, it's kind of going to go where it's going to go. You might get some spikes here and there, but the on-chain matrix right now say Bitcoin's probably going to drop to 38 to 37,000, and then it's going to spike back up. If it drops below 37, look out below. It'll probably hit somewhere between 30 or 32 as your next resistance points. I don't think it's going to drop below 30, 38, 37, but I'm not an expert. I'm not giving financial advice. Anything can happen. It's the world of cryptocurrencies. The world is crazy right now. So you've got stablecoin economy is about $190 billion right now. So the U.S. government's looking to regulate stablecoins. You've got two schools of thought on this. One is just to set up some rules and parameters, and then you have the people that want banks to be the only ones to issue stable coins, which would be absolute insanity. We're hoping that faction doesn't win and take over, but there are people fighting it. Luckily, there is a disagreement on it. If you are going to root for anything, root for nothing to happen. But if you are going to root for anything, that if something's going to happen, let's make it some common sense and not have banks be the only one that can issue stable coins. That's insanity. Nobody. That's clearly coming from Elizabeth Warren, who works for the banks while pretending not to. You've got some other things that are happening with good news. A lot of projects are spinning up on ADA. A whole bunch of people are psyched up about the Bitcoin conference. The Bitcoin conference usually came with a spike in Bitcoin price. It didn't happen this time, which is especially with all the great news, including Mexico looking into Bitcoin as cash, a couple smaller countries adding Bitcoin as legal tender, a whole bunch of major companies adding Bitcoin Lightning. You're going to start seeing user adoption fly through the roof. The numbers look great. The long-term numbers look like Bitcoin over 1 million in 2030 based on the current growth rate. All this stuff is amazing, and Bitcoin just sat flat. The good thing is, though, is that people are starting to understand that this is more than just about a currency. It's about freedom. It's about freedom from tyranny. It's about saving the actual world from banking and financial disasters and disastrous policy that excludes people from the banking system, overcharges people for simple things like transmitting money, and really squashes freedom all over the world by stealing through inflation. Anytime you have something with a limited supply that's non-inflationary, at least in the sense that it's not uh, essence tied to inflation, although you will see some things just like a stock where there will be some inflationary elements to Bitcoin where people flood in. The money comes in, it's still going to be a 21 million is all you're ever going to get. So, and of course, you've got your doubling in hash power every 4 years or so that it's built in to be a deflationary asset, even though technically there's a ton of cash dollars in there which are highly inflationary. So there's multiple different elements, but overall, it's infinitely better than fiat. The more you know about fiat, the more you hate it. The more you know about Bitcoin, the more you love it. We just need to protect the infrastructure from the powers that be. And quite frankly, they can't do a damn thing about it except for just torture people that have Bitcoin. It's not like they can come confiscate it. You've got some of the richest men in the world that are starting to jump on. Obviously, billionaires in Mexico to Peter Thiel, to Mr. Wonderful, to Mark Cuban. All these people are heavy into this world, but you're also seeing a lot of the pushback on the flip side of a lot of places like the EU are coming down against Bitcoin. The UK just put some parameters in place that caused a pretty big mass exodus of crypto companies from the UK. So they're stupid. The Indians have always been a pain in the ass about Bitcoin, and they're continuing to be a pain in the ass by basically saying that they aren't going to fully recognize it. They're going to kind of ban it. Same thing as China. Same thing as Pakistan has done the same thing. So There's a lot of countries out there that aren't. But in the end of the day, companies that do adjust and do embrace it will do real well. The companies that try to squash it will do poorly. And people will vote with their feet. You know, you'll see what happened like in China, where the Bitcoin miners all came over to the United States, set up shop in the Montanas and Texases and Nevadas, and now they're using renewable energies or offshoots of gas. Tesla is going to be diving into mining. Mobile is going to be diving into mining using offshoot gas. So it's being done in a way that does save the planet and really does great things for the environment. That's a whole other thing we'll talk about at a later date, is how Bitcoin is great for the environment and how the narrative against Bitcoin is absolute garbage. So we'll get into that later. In the meantime, expect more of the same today. I don't think the Bitcoin price is going to come bouncing up today. I do think that we're going to see a skyrocketing soon. Probably after Bitcoin drops to up to about 38, you'll start to see it fly back up. But another day in the world of crypto. Just keep in mind that this is a long-term thing. It's still brand new. A lot of people don't understand what's going on. 75% of Americans don't own any crypto. So you're here at the forefront. We'll continue to educate. We'll continue to bring you up to speed on what's happening in the markets. Hope everybody has a great and happy day.